Hey, good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Check on Tuesday. Hey, Dave, look at you first there. Oh my goodness. Probably a few trees that could use a minor trim. Well, I'm so glad you're excited about it. I didn't get to do as much research as I normally do, but we'll get some things going here and some things started. So, Michigan Daffodil, good evening to you. Alicia, hi. Oh my goodness. Yeah, and you know what, Leisha, I was wondering where you were the last couple weeks. I hadn't seen you at all. So, hold on a second. There you go. Yeah, it's you must have it targeted or something at this point for certain things. I don't know. Oh, but anyway. Um, Hello, Kiri. Good evening to you. Washing dishes. Donna, hello, hello. Oh, I'm sorry that she wasn't feeling well. So hopefully she's doing better. Hopefully she's doing better. So um, I have to leave early tonight. So at 1:45, I have to be all done. So 6:45 Central, because I have to get to a choir practice. So but anyway, so I was thinking about doing a half an hour, but I could really I can stretch it to that extra 15 minutes. So, oh my goodness. Um, you know what, Donna, I saw that going through and it was so funny because I had opened up my weather app and the phone and everything and just to check the temp and it said 91 degrees and it says partly sunny, but it's got all this rain, background. I was like, what in the world? And it was like, so I'm looking at the radar and it's just like, there was a cell going just right north of me. I mean, I was still in sunshine, but it was right north of me. So they're like, it could rain. But then I saw all of the system, like St. Cloud area, and just everything was just blooming and just blowing up. So anyway, I hope your things made it through. Um, yeah, some of the damage, the hail that we had last week, I think it was. Yeah, it was a week ago last Thursday. That came through just east of me, probably 10 miles, 10, 15 miles, more like 10 or 12. The cornfields are just shredded, and I don't know if there's any saving them at all. I mean, everything was tasseled. The ears were filled out, so the silk and everything. So the ears were big. I, the size hail it was. I showed you guys a picture of that. It was like baseball size hail, and it came down so hard. And yeah, the plants, they're standing yet, but they're just shredded. And it's like, it's farming is so hard. It's so hard. It can be so discouraging sometimes because you put all of that effort and the money and everything into it to planting a field that's your income. And then one 5-minute storm comes through and just wipes it out, and it's one field can get hit, but the next one doesn't. So it's crazy. It's crazy. Um, Thanks, Dave. Yes, music is good for me, definitely. I did about 3 hours last night, and so it'll be a couple hours tonight. So we have an outdoor service coming up this Sunday, which temps were supposed to be at about 87, but I just looked now, they're saying 82. So who knows? It's another 6 days. It could be raining, in which case it won't be outside. So, but it's going to be, at noon and it's like beastly. And I'm like, whoever planned this is like, couldn't you wait a month or something? Oh, so anyway, this week is traditionally our hottest time of the year. July 25th, 26th, those dates. And on the other end of it, January 25th, 26th is the coldest. So the 6 months apart, that, even though June 21st is the first day of summer, we don't get that heat, that intense heat, until this week. And it's supposed to be upper 90s for a couple days this week. So anyway, thanks, Alicia. I'm glad I can be on for a little bit too. Yeah, got an instant. So your garden died in the heat. Oh, I'm so sorry, Carrie. You have such challenges there with your heat. It's intense. As I was just checking out the weather here, I took a peek at Vermont and New Hampshire, and it's like, oh, you guys are getting it again, aren't you? Like, I didn't check the temps, but just, oh my goodness. Yes, you did need the rain, but not the hail. It's so true. Hottest days are last 2 weeks of July, first 2 of August. Okay. Oh, Carrie, I just can't do that. I have been, one of the reasons my subject is tonight, I have spent the last almost 3 weeks trimming trees on my property. And I know it's not the right time for some of them, but it's like, this is when I could get to them and everything. And all last week was just my lilac hedge. So my lilacs, I swear some of those must be 100 years old. Because they're just like so rooted and established. But yeah, I know you don't need the rain, Dave. And I was just like, oh, you guys. And it looks like a couple waves coming in, actually. So I'm like, oh, you poor things. They can. Oh my goodness, they're so invasive. Lilacs are so invasive. So, hey, Caitlin. So anyway, the last time I trimmed them back was maybe 20 years ago, and of course I was much younger, and all I had was a hand saw. So it took me quite a few days just to get through and trim back, the branches that were added and growing out and stuff. So this time I had some power help. Had my pole saw that I got, so it's got like an 8-inch blade on it, and then so it's a DeWalt battery powered pole saw. And then I've got a little hand saw that I was telling you guys about, like the Saker, the kind that Matt and Sarah have. And so it's got like a 6-inch blade, I think, or something like that, which would really great for the lilacs, because a lot of those branches and, like, to the suckers, they're only like, like your finger width or something like that. And so it's perfect for going through those little things. And then I have my 12-inch chainsaw, my battery powered chainsaw. So between those three, and then I had shears. It's been, a long time. So anyway, my hedge is 50 feet, or it was about 50 feet long and about 12 feet deep. So just kind of envisioned that size. So it had grown like over my LP tank. It was growing up and over my shed. It was growing, towards the street side. It was blocking so that I couldn't see traffic, much less people walking on the sidewalk coming around the hedge, or kids on their bikes or something. So it became a real safety issue there. So I had to shorten that up. So it's now about a 35 by 8 or something. So I took, no, probably about 35 by 6. I took off I moved it in a good 6 feet, and then cut off each end at least 7 or 8 feet. So that was a lot. You should see my pile. my pile is huge. Oh my goodness. Connie, hello, hugs to you. So it has been a lot of work, but it was the temps, like I said in my notes below, the temps were finally at a place where I could work outside for 7 or 8 hours, and I would be okay. I'd be exhausted, but it wasn't like the heat right now. So it was mostly in the 70s. Sometimes we'd hit low 80s. By Saturday, late afternoon, when I was doing the final piece of it, oh, I'd work like, I'd saw like 5 minutes, then sit down and rest for 10. I saw for 5 minutes, sit down, rest for 10. But it was upper 80s. It was probably almost 90 by that time, 5 in the afternoon. So I was just like, this is it. I'm done. Anything else that needs trimming in there, it'll be September or October. So I just, yeah, pretty wiped out with it. So I was thinking, it's like, um, for me, it's kind of like, this is the time when I was able to do it. Like I've been trimming. I trimmed like my pine tree. I trimmed all 3 of my apple trees. Trimmed my birch trees. Couldn't reach the branches on the ash, but I trimmed my apricot tree, and then I had a bunch of bushes, like hedges, not the lilac hedge, but other bushes and stuff that are Chinese elms. So I trimmed all those down. Those I have to trim twice a year. They grow so fast. I swear they grow 8 to 10 feet a year. So fast. So, thank you, Dave. Thanks. Hi, Bex. Yes, it is hard work. Yeah. And so I've got, there's a friend in town who usually comes by and gets all my branches and stuff that I can make a pile there, and he'll come and do that and bring it down to the city compost. Well, he had lent his truck to a coworker like 3 weeks ago and still doesn't have it back. So he's not able to do it. So I have some other friends coming tomorrow afternoon. It's going to be so hot. But tomorrow afternoon, I think it's going to be 95 or something, to load it all down. It's going to be probably 4 or 5 pickup loads. That's about how much I have just from the lilacs. Well, no, there's the shrubs and the lilacs. So anyway, it's you need to trim the trees all the way around the perimeter of your lawn. They slap you in the face and you're right. Oh, okay. Yep. Chopped a bunch of plants that produce a guard-like fruit that none of the animals use, assuming it's toxic. If they are toxic, if the animals aren't eating them, I would not even put those in a compost, Kiri. I would just get rid of them, or burn them. Although if they're toxic, there might be something in the air too. But yeah, I wouldn't do that. So yes, that's a lot of brush. And like, anyway, then I got to thinking, it's like, well, this is the time. I mean, I'm just by myself here. So it's like, and I'm not going to pay anybody anymore just to trim my stuff. It's outrageously expensive. So if I can do it, I'm going to do it. And I know the apple trees, the best time to trim those is late winter, early spring. I mean, like as soon as the snow melts and you get it out there. The problem is that I've had so much snow that I can't get back there before things start budding and different things like that. And so I'm like, oh, it's crazy. So I just haven't been able to get to them. So I really needed to just trim them, and I'm just like, okay, whatever. I'm not trimming for greater production or anything. I'm just trimming them to get them out of the way so that we can mow underneath them and we can kind of, get them all kind of taken care of in that way. So, okay. So yeah, I would toss them then, Kiri. Low 80s, semi-humid, fairly comfortable. Yeah, I had got both air conditioners running. Well, I've got this one turned off right now, but I've had them both going full blast all day, and the blinds closed on the west side. And the sun is hitting the west, of course, right now, the west side, but it's still, the temperature in the house was still going up. So that's when I know that it is warm out there. That's I need to get a set of snowshoes. That would be great. That would be fun. Hey, Patty, how are you? Um, so anyway, as I was looking up, and so I know that that's when fruit trees or apple trees anyway should be pruned. Any other trees that are flowering or fruiting, or let me back up. Any trees that are fruiting should be pruned during the winter, late winter, early spring, that type of thing, before they do that. Any deciduous trees, they say November through March, February or March, right in there. Well, it's not an ideal time for us to get out there and do that. I'm not going to tromp through 4 feet of snow to get out there and trim a branch. I'm like, oh, it's just not happening. And so it's not practical. I mean, I could understand if it's, a little bit further south of me where you're still getting cold temps, but not tons of snow. Or if you get snow, it'll melt fairly quickly. But anyway, so that's their recommended time is, let me get back to the article here. So is November through March. Yeah, when the trees are dormant, and it makes that really ideal for all these reasons. First, trees are less susceptible to insects or disease if you're trimming them, because when you make a cut, all of a sudden that tree is exposed, right? The inside of that tree pretty much is exposed. So if there are I don't know, army ants or something like that, just different things that could get in there and either nest or lay eggs or plant disease or different things like that. It's a softer part of the tree. It's not protected um, by the bark or anything like that. And so you really, that's what'll help, keeps the insects and the diseases down. There's less impact on the surrounding landscape. Um, so the people coming in and doing their spring stuff and everything else, there's they can see what's happening a lot better. But because everything is not all leafed out and bushing and different things like that, you can kind of see what's going on a little bit better. And they say the trees heal faster in the winter, but I don't know. Like my birch trees, let me get back here. Yeah, the tree is wounded, really, absolutely. Kind of the best thing to do would be to, if you have to make a cut, like I've had to in the middle of the summer, is to have some spray. It's like called tree wound or something like that. Anyway, it's a spray that it's almost like a spray paint type of thing, but it's a dark color. And anyway, you can spray the cut, and that helps the tree cut to heal faster, and it protects it from that. It'll dry and kind of blends in with the color of the tree. So anyway, it's yeah, it's super. You might have both up here. You have such great woods too for snowshoeing around there. That's so cool. Thanks, Alicia. Um, so so anyway, like my birch trees. Okay, so I like to, well, those also grow very fast. And by the middle of the summer, even though it doesn't start out in the spring, by the middle of summer, I've got a lot of new growth, and everything is like hanging down over the sidewalks, over the cars, and people have to duck underneath them. And it's just, so I have to do a lot of trimming to take care of that. Also, either because of dry times like we are right now, really hot, dry times, or um, through storms or whatever like that, there's a certain number of branches that just die off. And so I need to, sometimes they don't just fall off. I have to, make sure that they cut those off and different things like that. Emptied a peanut butter jar today just do I ever make birch tea? I have not used young leaves or young bark. Ooh, okay. What are the benefits to birch tea? I would be very interested in that. I don't know if I ever looked that up or not, but I may have. But um, so what happens is the birch, those cuts take a long time to heal. And what I've noticed is that when I trim anything in the fall to get ready for winter, because you don't want, branches hanging down over my car, if they get laden with snow or ice, they'll just, bang on it and different things because I don't have a garage. But when I make those cuts in the winter or in the fall for the winter, or even early spring, by the time the sap is running for the birches, which is usually May, usually around in May into June, and it can run. Oh my goodness, that sap can run for 6 weeks easily. And the problem is, if I'm cutting branches over my car, is dripping sap on my car all the whole time, and it's not good for my paint job either. So, and then especially if it's like dripping it all over the sidewalk, different things, it gets really icky for people to be walking on it and all that kind of stuff. So I that's where I don't want to be cutting those at that point in time. um Almost minty. Ooh, okay. Oh, that would be kind of cool. I'll have to keep that in mind. Um, Pine trees, you can cut them any time of the year, just because of the nature of a pine. Uh, Now, like I said, fruiting trees, your pears, apples, peaches, crab apples, whatever those, um, they should be done in the late winter, early spring, so that before it starts setting its leaves and everything, so that that can end up promoting the new growth, different things. Um, yeah, I've been doing my peppermint tea again. Pack a vessel with leaves, pour boiling water and steep 10 minutes straight. Do some with thin shavings, underbark. Okay. Oh, underbark of small. I will have to try that. So I have river birch. I don't know. It doesn't matter what kind of birch it is. Um, and then any other shrubs or bushes or trees or anything that are just flowering trees, like the lilacs, dogwood. Let me see where some of the others that they talked about. And these are called deciduous shrubs. So butterfly bush, clematis, hydrangea, yeah, dogwood, St. John's wort, summer sweet, azaleas, flowering almond, lilac, mountain laurel, oak leaf hydrangea, rhododendron, wisteria, witch hazel, and there's a bunch of others that are not very well known or anything, but those that grow and then they just flower and everything, you can. It says really the proper time to prune those is determined by the plant's growth habit, their bloom time, and whether it flowers on growth produced in the same year, called new wood, or if they flowered on the previous year's branch, is called old wood. So, so summer flowering shrubs bloom in summer on new wood or the current year's growth. And then you can prune those in late winter or early spring. So the new wood ones late winter, early spring. Okay. Because then you're not lopping off branches that they would normally be growing on. And so those are more your clematis, your dogwood, different things like that. Now, spring flowering shrubs, which is a lilac and everything, um, they bloom in spring on old wood or the growth of the previous year. Now, I know I got rid of a whole bunch of that because I just lopped off some and I just brought it in there. Really, I only did like three sides of the shrubs of the hedge. So there's still going to be plenty that will come on the south side of it. So I did the north, east, and west sides. Um, but so the old wood, the best time to prune those is right after they bloom in late spring or early summer. If I prune them too early, I'll cut off the buds that would have opened for this spring. So I think it was totally good in my timing for the lilacs here. So I caught up here. The type matters to find your black birch is more flavorful. Oh, okay. River birch. Yes, I have a river birch. Found peppermint seeds last spring. Had a plant kind. Oh. Green country agroforestry. Hello. Very late winter for you, about a month and a half from breaking dormancy. So you must be in the southern hemisphere then, are you? Welcome. I don't remember seeing you here before, but thank you for coming. In Oregon, you have some different practices when it comes to timing of trees for shaping them that include summer pruning. Probably. A lot of I looked up also, one of them is for like Minnesota trimming. And so in the southern states, winter, definitely trim and prune in the winter because you have a very short window of dormancy, probably 2 or 3 months, I would think, something like that. I mean, they say November to March, but I mean, when I lived in Louisiana, by March, everything was blooming. The azaleas were all over the place. The trees were blooming. The crepe myrtles were blooming, just everything. So I would say probably December to February would be your pruning time and the trimming for the deep south. Dave, you'd be more like Minnesota. So that first one is actually for Minnesota pruning. But anyway, it's really good to prune to remove like dead wood, any dead branches, like I said, anything that's diseased, anything that's even weak or something like that, that maybe it's a long, like dead branch with just a few leaves on the end. It's like, there's a lot of energy going up through that whole branch just to get to those few leaves. So the more you can prune them, the more they're going to fill out and do really well. So where are we here? Gives you time to callus and root cuttings if you have a mind to. Okay. Now I have ceiling fans in my all three bedrooms and the dining room and the kitchen. Used to have one in the bathroom, and that didn't quite work out so well. So when I do your pruning, oh, you're in Northeast Oklahoma. Oh, okay. Okay. Well, welcome. Really, no dormancy even until February. Wow. So then you have a very short window. You have like 1 month or something at the most for dormancy. Oh my goodness. You prune azaleas, etc., a little while after the blooms fade. Okay. And that's really a good time to really be able to assess it too, when you've been able to see it bloom, because then like what areas maybe are not as strong for blooming. and you can shape your plant better. Like Patty was talking about shaping the plants on different things. So those warm West Coast winters, yep. No blossoms yet, Alicia, on your tomatoes? Hmm. If you've had a lot of rain, have you been fertilizing? Because the more we have to water, like especially like in hot, dry times, we're watering. Or if you're getting a lot of rain, it's going to wash those nutrients through the soil. So you may have to get like a liquid fertilizer going in there or something. Um, yes, Dave, exactly. Removing damaged or weak branches definitely worth. And like for you in your woods, you have all what they call the widow makers. So those trees that are you could walk under them and you just never know when they're going to fall. So it's like take them down before they're a problem, right? um yeah. So, oh, Josh, okay, well, hello. um there's a Dr. Earth um organic one. I've gotten on Amazon. I'm not sure where else you can find it. um that's a really good organic fertilizer. You can either just sprinkle it on the soil itself, and then as you're watering, it'll just go down, or you can, I think, add it to water and make a tea or something out of it and just kind of go that way. But Dr. Earth's is a good one. Um, yeah, and I'm hearing that from a lot of people this year too. It's like they're getting so far, and then it's like the plants get weak, and they kind of peter out in that way. So your tomato never blossomed, goats. Carrie, your goats. Oh my goodness. You need to have like um a greenhouse that they never go into, or I mean that'd be incredibly hot, but or just have one that is like 6 feet off the ground, and your garden is, and then you can you have access to it and climbing up into it. They don't. That would be kind of fun. You work more on strengthening the microbiome than providing supplemental fertilizer. Okay, nice. Um, Josh, Alicia's she grows in pots, and so a lot of it just gets washed out of those really, really easily and quickly too. So duck manure, yeah, yeah, those are good. So see if I had anything else here on this. So reasons for pruning for overall health of the plant. Yes, remove dead or dying branches injured by disease, insect infestation, animals, storms, or other damage. This is a good one. Remove branches that rub together, and remove branch stubs. Like if you've gone through and even in reducing that lilac hedge, I could only get to a branch so far. Especially if it was like a 3 or 4 inch diameter, 4 inch diameter branch. I could only reach in so far. But then when I was finally able to get to there, it had a couple feet sticking out from the trunk. So it's like, cut that off again. So it's not, I don't have that stub sticking out there. Maintain intended purposes for plants in a landscape. So to encourage flower and fruit development, it helps to maintain a dense hedge if you prune more. It improves the appearance of plants and overall curb appeal. You can, yes, control a plant size and shape if you want to. Protect your family and your property. Again, taking hazardous trees down. Prune branches that overhang homes, parking areas, sidewalks, any place that falling limbs could injure people or damage property. Eliminate branches that interfere with streetlights, traffic signals, or overhead wires, and need branches that obscure vision at intersections. That's like a big thing for me. I still my birches in the front, they've grown so much that they are hanging over electrical wires. And I actually had the electric company out to check on that, see if they could prune them. And they said, well, those are wires that just go to the street lamp and they don't go to any building. So that's not of our concern. So if it takes it down, oh well. I'm like, then I'm liable for it. So I'm like, oh my goodness. So that's something else I'm going to have to address, but that's going to be so expensive to have somebody come out with a cherry picker and get up there and lop those off. Um, but anyway, yeah, it's crazy. So but like I said, the lilac hedge, I had to trim that in for safety for people walking by and everything, that as I'm backing out of my driveway, I just couldn't see anybody before, and it was like, this is not good. So it's much better now, much better, and I'm really glad for that. So to remove, leave them, and you lose both. Yes. You have an 80-foot oak that died. Ooh. Oh, yeah, I hear you, Dave. That might be a 2 or 3 man job there. Get somebody else who have Al come over. He likes to cut down trees. He's not that far away. Oh, but anyway, yes, the it's worth to take your time when shopping around for an arborist. It can get expensive, yeah. And way out here, I don't. There's not a whole lot of choices either. So, um, not sure what direction I'm going to go. Maybe I could check with the DNR or something. Although they'd probably be like, trimming your tree in your yard. Uh, um, so there's something else I was going to say, but I can't remember. But anyway, only have 1 minute left, or no, I've got 5 minutes left. Sorry. Um, I have picked a few peppers. They're just small little purple peppers at this point. The bells, I thought they were going to get bigger, but they haven't. The peas are filling out. They're getting ready to pick, so I'll be harvesting those. The beans and zucchini are all blossoming like crazy. So those are going to be coming really quickly. My newly planted mints this summer, I have a peppermint and a spearmint, and about 2 weeks was like the prime time, and I missed the window of harvesting them. And now they're um, getting kind of old and woody looking and different things. And so I'm just gonna have to trim those back and see what they can do. See if I can get some new stuff. I started basil and lemon balm from seed in another bed, and they're taking their time. They're going really slow. So I think the basil is up maybe 2 inches or something, and the lemon balm is probably not even an inch high. So we'll see where all that comes, and what happens with that. Um, anyway, so Dave, I don't know if this helped you at all tonight about the different trees, um, and when to prune and to trim and different things. You are really, because of the equipment you have and where you are, you're really on top of things um, around the years. So you do pretty well. Um, Try to avoid miracle grow if you can, Alicia. There's you're always trimming trees, yeah. Um, so I've actually brought, yeah, my chainsaw. It was like the first time I used that one. So and I don't know why it was such a block to be using it before, but it performed well. So I actually ended up having to get a couple new chains. So because I think lilac wood is hard wood. Did anybody know that? It is some hard wood. And so after doing, over 50 feet of hedge and everything. I'm trimming all that up. It kind of dulled my chain a little bit. So um, people carve with lilac wood. Oh, it's some beautiful wood as I was, cutting up certain logs of it and different things. And so, but also I took out like 7 major clumps, and in each of those, I mean, it was just like multiple trees growing up out of these clumps, and they were, pretty substantial at the bottom. And so nobody would trip over them. I had to dig out from around them and then cut them off lower than the level of the ground and stuff. So it was a lot of work. A lot of work. And so, here I am like cutting them up into pieces and trying to get down, and it was crazy. It was crazy. It does look pretty. Oh, okay, the lilac wood you're talking about. Um, yeah, it's Miracle Grow throws stuff in there that's kind of toxic for your plants. So if you can find something else, Dr. Earth is on Amazon too. I don't know if you're able to find that. You probably and he's got one that's like a blossom. I think he's got one that's like a full tomato one. So if it's just your tomatoes that need help on that, so see if I have a shop that services chainsaws in town. Okay. Okay, I will do that. Because, yeah, the chains were, I don't know, $17 a piece or something like that. So they're not cheap. And that's even for just a 12-inch saw. So, anyway, any last questions, guys? Because I only got like two minutes left here. I probably sharp. Oh, well, that'd be a whole lot better. And I know that people have their tools and they have different things to sharpen their chainsaws or the chains with and different things. And I just don't have any of those tools. So yeah, if I could find somebody to do it for $5, that'd be great. I'll have to ask around, see who would. I think my neighbor would probably know because he does a certain amount of chainsawing himself too. So anyway, bad reviews about Miracle Ghost. Oh, I'm glad you asked, Alicia. Yes. And especially soil, the potting soil, do not use that either. So I can do, yeah. That I knew, Dave, but I'm not exactly sure how to go about doing that. Somebody to have to show me. YouTube probably has something in there. YouTube University teaches us everything we need to know. Oh, anyway, guys, it has been a pleasure again talking with you. So if tree trimming, I mean, you're not going to kill the tree if you trim it in an off time, but if you're doing it for the purpose of like an apple tree, of just having it fruit more, and to do that, it's important to do it at the right time of the year. Your flowering trees or shrubs, everything, if you want them to just be blooming like crazy, do them at the right times, that kind of stuff. So anyway, his channel, Buck and Billy Ray. Oh, okay. I'll have to, let me do a screenshot of that here. There we go. Buck and Billy Ray, that's cute. So anyway, you guys, I gotta run. So you guys take care. God bless. Always have hope. And we will see you next week. And hopefully it'll be cooler. So you have a great week, and you guys all be safe. Good night.